I realized like I was being called to do other things while I was down there and didn't necessarily understand why at the time, but I knew God was placing these opportunities in my lap for a reason. And I wasn't going to just like, no, I'm thinking about acting. No, sometimes you're required to tap into other things while you're still focused on this main thing. It's not that this main thing is not your focus, but sometimes you're called to be stretched this way while you're still focused on this way, or to be stretched this way while you're still focused on this thing, so that you're adding to your bag of tricks. You're adding to you're building your skills, you're building other talents. I feel like sometimes we don't even recognize. I feel like it takes sometimes being out of school to recognize I'm more than this, than just this one thing.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of In Real Life. And we talked about something really interesting today. It's something that I've been thinking about for a minute. And just getting the aspect, as y'all can see at the bottom of the screen, what we're going to be talking about is how has social media influenced the art of acting. And this is something that I actually talked about with another friend, but I wanted to talk about it with my friends who have been trained blood, sweat, and tears in the arts. Okay, trained. Okay, from young spring chickens to now. I feel like I need to know answers. So I'm going to be interviewing 2 girls and 2 guys. Today are my 2 girls. But before we get started, y'all know who Kadijah is. Y'all know who that is. But we have a new cover, first timer. Do it. Hey, hit it with the It's Alyse. We gonna talk about how we met. The bad part about it is I don't really remember how we met. So
Either I feel like it just happened a little seamlessly, and then we just got close. I don't really know. I don't really remember.
Did I meet her through her prom too, or did I know her by the time it was prom?
You came to my prom.
So I did, but I don't know if I met you at your prom.
No.
How did I meet this girl? I do not remember. Like, it was like, what, like, how with you, Kadijah? Like, I remember how I met you. I don't remember how I met Alyse. But we met, I feel like we met through Kadijah. Oh, man. Are we getting that?
It might have been. I really don't know. It might have been. I don't know. I feel like we had so many mutual friends in common at that time that, like, we would just be around at the same things type thing. And then we just formed a bond. That's how I kind of remember it happening. Like, we just had, like, a bunch of mutual friends who all knew each other. And then, like, I don't know, you and I just kind of clicked. And then it was up and stuck from there.
I don't know. I really wish I could remember the time, the point in time, the date, the time of day, all of that. Dang. Well, Alyse is a mutual friend. I didn't meet Alyse like by herself. I met her through people at CAS. For those who know that I did go there, but I don't remember meeting her. I didn't meet Kadijah at CAS either. I went there for a year. Y'all know I don't claim CAS. But I went there and I didn't even meet Kadijah at CAS. I met her later on. But yeah, then when I went to Renaissance, Renaissance the CAS, even though we like play rivals, we still kind of like know kind of all of each other from each school. So that's not on that. So today we're gonna get right into it. For both of y'all can choose whoever want to go, but how did y'all get started in acting, and how did you know it was what you wanted to do for a living?
I guess I'll go, because my story is pretty interesting. Well, I think it's kind of interesting because it's funny. I have never fully classified myself just solely as an actor because of like my background. So I been acting and in performing arts since I could remember, but I will say that I really started like taking it full on seriously in the 8th grade. I was in my first little middle school show, but after that, I joined Mosaic. I was a part of the Mosaic Singers. I wasn't on the acting track, but it was performance based, right? So like we did concerts and like we had to learn full blown out choreo and all of that. Then I actually transferred to Cass my junior year, and that's where um, our our black box director and teacher MC, which we're still connected to her today, or she was the one who told me like you can also act, like you're good at singing, you're good at performance, but there is a component that I feel like you're good at. And I took it seriously from then on out. I didn't know anything about acting. I knew about performance. I knew about singing, which can be similar, but they're very, very different. Like the craft of acting, to me, storytelling, all of that, that's where I really learned. That's where that was cultivated in me, was when I transferred to Cass. And then from there, Kadijah and I were actually in the same black box Cass Tech troupe. We graduated the same year, so we did Unifieds together. Unifieds is where you go to, well, we went to the Chicago one, but I believe they have it in LA, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, right? Um, we went to the Chicago one, that was the closest one to Detroit, and we applied to schools, we auditioned for these programs, and from there, it's kind of like, to me, I equate it to like sports, because it's kind of like they're scouting you and you're competing for so many spots. To me, it's a little bit more competitive because usually it's about 20 spots, 10 guys and 10 girls. So you're really competing for a place in 10 spots. Um, I got accepted into the University of Minnesota Guthrie Theater program. Yeah, that Unifies was a different beast for me. And I guess this is part of my testimony. Like I didn't get my apps in time. Like again, confused on the process. I wasn't necessarily, because Kadijah and some of my other peers at this time had been in the black box for years. At that point, here I am just entering really my senior year. I don't know anything. I don't know what to ask. I don't know what it means to create pieces and auditions and all this stuff. So I didn't get my apps in on time. The schools I really wanted to audition for, I didn't get them in on time. But that didn't deter me. You know what I'm saying? Because when God, or you have a calling on your life and you know you're meant to do something, there's nothing that's going to stop you or get in your way from you achieving that goal or being a part of that. So again, I auditioned for the schools that I could. I auditioned for SUNY. I auditioned for Minnesota, SMU, another school in Philadelphia. Yeah, and I got into actually all the schools, from what I remember, all the schools that I auditioned for. But the reason I chose my program was because, again, like I felt as though to do for at the time, and even now, even knowing who I am now, like doing art full time, all the time, every day, which is what I did essentially, but it was housed in a university setting. So I also got to experience kind of like real campus life. I had to create that for myself because our schedules were so rigorous. But it's conservatories are like boot camps for actors. Like it's literally, and it's a different beast being black. To be honest, like it's a different beast being black. So not only are you expected to show up, show out, you got to do it 20 times better to even get recognition, or to, I don't even want to say receive the flowers that you're, well, yeah, receive the flowers that your white counterparts are getting on the daily. And it's just different battles that you have to fight throughout these my program was 4 years. So throughout these 4 years, but it's like, do you love it? How bad do you want it? Are you gonna get through it, or are you gonna quit? Like it's, and I feel like everybody's journey, again, is different. But again, during my conservatory program is when I realized like I'm so much more than just the actor, and I'm good at this. Like And my program was specifically classical. And at the time, again, very what do they call it? Neo-Saxon? Whatever it's called, white.
Right. Classical.
It's very very white. It's Shakespeare. We had to protest to get August Wilson, Tennessee Williams in our programs. Like, everything that they taught us was based around like white characters. I remember my senior year, Chekhov. I love Chekhov work now, but my senior year was when I got my first, like, I guess, lead or whatever. But I was playing a white Russian woman. And then we have voice classes. You know, we're from Detroit. We got Ebonics. Like, I don't speak like everybody. I'm not Southern, so it's not like quickly like, oh, she's from the South. It's like, oh, no, like, I have, like, the way our mouths even work, like, it's down to that, like, how we say things, our diphthongs, our vowels, all that matters. I had to have, like, one-on-one voice classes because I didn't talk like them. And when certain things came out on stage, it didn't sound right. It didn't sound right. And just like, okay, this is a skill. I had to take on the mindset of like, no, this is a skill that I'm learning. But I'm still going to be true to who I am, because that's something that all of my teachers always said about me. And we had these things called evals, which came at the end of each semester. You basically go into a room with all your teachers. It's kind of like a long table. You're at the head. All your teachers are around. They go down what you did throughout the year, critique it, tell you what you can do better, all of this stuff. And sometimes they were hard. And especially when you know that you've put in work and you felt like, oh, I've grown so much. And then you go in there and they kind of just like rip you to shreds almost. It's like, well, you didn't just say that to Sally Mae, who just walked out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Sally
like,
Mae.
You hear her, but I'm saying, like, you can hear what they're saying to these people. And then you come in and you know, like, you're confident and all this stuff. And they try. To me, it's like, they try to get at you. But to me, it's like, how do you take what they're saying to you and use it to motivate you rather than use it as them trying to tear you down? Because to me, it was a tear down. At least my experience, some of my experiences, it was a tear down. It was racism. I went to Minnesota, honey. Like, if 2020 wasn't a testament for me, I was like, well, I've been seeing this, like, honestly. And I think, getting off track, sorry, but like, conservatory was a very prominent part of my life, though. You know, it helped mold me into the creative that I am today. So after graduating, I walked across that stage and I literally left the next morning. Like, I was out, just because it was hard. It was a difficult time in my life. Like, it was fulfilling to a degree, but like, I didn't want to stay in a place that I didn't feel welcome. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't see myself. I feel like sometimes when you go to certain colleges and stuff, you tend to maybe stay in the state that you went to college in or something. That wasn't my case. I had to go. Like, I had to go. I did. And I moved to Atlanta.
Okay, bye.
Exactly. Like, no, thank you. I moved to Atlanta right after school. I stayed there for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And I literally found myself, and I found my artistry, and I found what that meant to me. And auditioning down there was interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Atlanta is a fresh new scene in this whole, you know, creative industry now. People are really paying attention to Atlanta. But I feel like I moved there in the tail end of 2017, going into 2018. And I feel like at that time, Atlanta's even different now from when I was there. But it was just starting, you know, so I felt as though I needed other outlets because it wasn't as, I would say, popping as LA or New York. But, you know, those are places that, you have to go to those places if you want to reach a certain level of success. And they demand a certain level of you in order, you know what I'm saying? Atlanta is still cultivating that. And I feel like that's what's so beautiful about that place, because people are producing their own work, and it builds something like it brings something else out of you You know what I'm saying? And it also forced me to really be disciplined because it's like, okay, I want to audition. I want to be on TV. I want to, at the time, I will say, these are my goals, right? I want this for myself. Okay, I still want this, but I realized like I was being called to do other things while I was down there and didn't necessarily understand why at the time, but I knew God was placing these opportunities in my lap for a reason. And I wasn't going to just like, no, I'm thinking about acting. No, sometimes you're required to tap into other things while you're still focused on this main thing. It's not that this main thing is not your focus, but sometimes you're called to be stretched this way while you're still focused on this way, or to be stretched this way while you're still focused on this thing, so that you're adding to your bag of tricks. You're adding to you're building your skills, you're building other talents. I feel like sometimes we don't even recognize. I feel like it takes sometimes being out of school to recognize I'm more than just this one thing.
So, Alyse, did you feel like before you even found acting for real, were you gonna go into singing? Was that
I knew music.
okay?
I knew it was going to be music related. I won't even say necessarily singing. I didn't know at the time, but like I knew it was going to be music related. I knew that I just have always had a love for music and music composition and putting things together, and just like hearing melodies and harmony like that brings me
Oh,
joy.
you like musicals?
No,
Or as an
which
actor?
no, I really don't. Which is
I don't
interesting.
either, for
I
real.
feel like it's a very specific like lane, but I was never into that. Like I loved doing them when we were in high school. Like they were fun, but I could never see myself. I don't know, Jack. Like I don't know. It's something about the only musical I can say, which is really my favorite musical that I would like drop hands down for, is In the Heights.
Hey.
Because it's just something about the storyline and the way the music is composed for me in that musical is unlike anything I've ever seen and or heard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my favorite musical. But in terms of like musical theater and all that stuff, that just was never my lane.
Okay. Okay, because I heard singing and then I heard acting, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's like a musical, perfect blend. You get to do both. No, you don't.
No, it's a different beat. It's like a that's catered to a very specific type of person. I feel like it's a very specific type of actor. It's a very specific type of literally person.
Ooh.
Like it requires you acting wise to go. It to me, it's not a I'm not shading this at all when I say this, but I feel like it's very surface level acting. Because like you can act your butt off in the songs and that can be felt and heard, but when you go see the plays, the story, sometimes what I feel like is neglected is the acting. Like when people are actually just speaking, when songs aren't being played, like I feel like the way in which I was trained, words and language are so important.
Okay, pause right there because we gonna get into that a little bit later. Pause right there. Okay, Kadijah, what was? Why did you start acting? I don't even know if I know this story from you, and I didn't know you for 85 years. But okay.
Okay. How did I get started? Well, like I always say that I was one of those kids where when you ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up and they got a list of like 20 different things. Mm-hmm. My list was forever changing, but the number one thing on that list has always been actress. Mm-hmm. As I got older, I actually kind of removed myself from being tied to the title of actress because I feel like that's very gender specific, and I feel like being an actor is giving the craft and the crafts person respect. So I prefer to be called an actor because I'm someone who performs the craft of acting. Mm-hmm. Actress is just a title, which I feel is completely unnecessary. Just like you don't call a female doctor a doctress. Yeah. You don't call a female lawyer a lawyeress. So a female actor shouldn't be called an actress. We're actors. But yeah, so I very young was always thinking about being on stage. And in my elementary school, we didn't have any type of theater or anything. So I actually started dancing before I started acting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got into ballet and modern very, very young. But I was always the kid who had to do stuff in school as like extracurricular activities because we didn't have the money to pay for outside classes. So I was dancing all through elementary school. And then when I got to middle school, my middle school started at fifth grade. So when yeah.
But you started at fifth grade?
Ludington starts at fifth grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. All right, Ludington.
I went to Ludington and found out that they had the eighth grade play production. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I continued my dance career. I also picked up cheerleading and I picked up like volleyball and just stuff that allowed me to be active and expressive. But I was very, very much looking forward to being in eighth grade play production. That was like my main goal, being at that school. So I did that. Then I went on to CAS. And the way that CAS is set up, like both of y'all know this, but like CAS is set up like a mini college. So like when you pick your curriculum, that's basically the fast track that you're on towards graduation. Those are the types of classes that surrounds your schedule. So my ninth grade year, I had a little time choosing if I wanted to do dance or acting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, especially because
Bomb.
workshop is bomb.
I don't know about it right now, but back when we was in school, that was how old.
Okay,
but when we were in high school, middle school, like in middle school, everybody wants to either go to CAS or Renaissance. King don't count. It didn't count in our era. It might have counted with like some of my older sisters, but like King didn't count no more. So you was go dance, you was go to CAS. Period. That's it.
Okay.
Like,
Not even DSA.
Not even DSA. The Detroit School of Arts, y'all. You picked CAS, so yeah, CAS was pretty good.
CAS was it. Yeah. And like, yeah, so I was amazed with workshop, and I was like, I could do that. Mm-hmm. But then I stepped into the black box where I had children's theater my freshman year, which is like a basics of acting, and it has a lot to do with like improv and just like yes anding a lot of stuff, and it has to do with just a lot of the basic structures tied into the craft of acting. So when I took that class with MC, that's when the real struggle came, where I was like, oh dang, I mean, I knew I wanted to be an actor, but like this is fun. Mm-hmm. This is fun, and it's hitting depths that I wasn't expecting to hit this early. So after freshman year, I decided to, stick with the theater track and just keep dance as an elective. So I was in all of the shows except for the ones during my 10th grade year. My 10th grade year, I had to like focus on schoolwork because I was letting my extracurricular stuff get in the way. But I ended up being a stage manager for Othello. They ended up doing Othello, and I wanted to audition to be in Othello, but since I couldn't be in it, MC allowed me to be stage manager on the show.
You've been a stage manager before. That's fun too, actually. But
it is so much work. That year, I grew so much respect for stage managers. It's a lot. Because they are literally expected to know and do everything. They run that show. Stage managers run that show, especially after everything is set, the director is finished directing, don't got no more notes, that show becomes the stage manager's show until it closes. So yeah, all new respect. So it wasn't just that I was learning about acting like in the actual show. Now I'm getting behind the scenes stuff, my passion for acting got tested my freshman year when I broke my foot in the dance concert a week before we were supposed to open for rent. And I was in the ensemble, and I was supposed to be in every dance number. And I was like, I remember sitting in the doctor's office, and the doctor was like, so your foot's broken. And I was like, what do you mean? I have a show.